Hello, my name's Suvannavira, and welcome to this course, Going Further, Going Deeper in Meditation, which is a course giving the teaching on meditation as taught in the Triratna Buddhist Community to those who've already done the introductions to meditation. So most of the material will be already familiar. We'll just go deeper and further with it. Of course, two important practices that we'll be looking at. It's the mindfulness of breathing and the metabhavna, which can be translated as the development of loving kindness. And of course, before that, the foundation of all meditation practices, the mindfulness of the body, which will be our theme today. There's another aspect, another small group of practices we'll be looking at as well that are probably not familiar to you. It's practices such as just sitting or formless meditation, which give an important counterbalance to the other practices that we've done. So these are our themes that we'll be looking at during this 6-week course, this 6-week video course for you. And indeed, it's the first course of 4, which give a comprehensive introduction and preparation to practicing in the Triratna Buddhist Community. Even though I should say the first and second courses will be accessible and relevant to people who just want to improve the quality of their lives, which means improving the quality of our mental states and looking at how we act in life. The first course, as I've already said, will focus on going further and deeper in meditation, with the accent on becoming more aware of our personal experience of practice, and sharing, expressing that. The second course, to continue the overview of all 4, the main question here will be how to practice in everyday life, how to look to improve the quality of our lives, not only at the time that we're meditating, but moment by moment. And in Buddhism, this is traditionally given the name of ethics, even though it might not be how you usually think of ethics. That's the second course. In the third course, we'll start to look more closely at our Triratna Buddhist Community, which means our Sangha, which can be translated as our spiritual community. And looking at the importance of spiritual friendship in our community, which is based on communication, and a Sangha is made up of true individuals. So what that means and how to do that more and more effectively will be our aim there. And fourthly, finally, our approach to practicing and studying Buddhism. Buddhism being the translation of the Eastern word Dharma. We can start with the idea of dukkha, which can be translated as unsatisfactoriness, a sense of there must be something more to life. And it ends with enlightenment, the ideal for Buddhists. And then there's the most interesting question: how do we realize our potential to get from our state of unsatisfactoriness to the ideal of enlightenment? What's the best approach to the teachings that help us to do that? So yes, this is a brief overview of the course to begin with. And today, shortly, we'll be starting with the foundation of meditation in this going deeper course on meditation, looking at the mindfulness of the body. But before starting to talk about the mindfulness of the body, I'd like to give you a bit more of an introduction of what each video lesson includes, what each video of this 6-week course includes. Well, there'll be a video presentation, obviously, in a particular time frame, and each video will include questions to answer, and questions for reflection, which you can then answer as well. I imagine each course will be made up of 3 or 4 people. And we can answer together, we can share how the course is going for us in groups, in small groups that meet together on WhatsApp or Telegram, whatever's convenient. So in this way, spiritual communication is an integral part of this course. And as I said, more about these themes will come later in the 3rd course. Also in each video there'll be a led meditation, which will give different approaches to the practice we're looking at. And that will give you material ideas to try in your daily practice. Part of the course is to ask you to carry on meditating daily. And as well as that, to look at practices that you can do outside of meditation in everyday life. And the possibility to review your practice in our group, which gives support, share inspiration, sympathy if things are going not so well. So the course will demand something of you every day. It's not a spectator sport, but it is designed to make it possible for people who have busy lives, sympathetic to the busyness and the demands of life, and an approach to practice that can work in such circumstances. One more thing before we begin with the theme, and that's a few requests for the well-being, the benefit of this course. Requests in relation to the course and requests in relation to each other. The first is to keep communication positive and respectful. Communication, as I said, is a spiritual practice, which we'll look at more in the 3rd course. It's good to listen, to sympathize, and to share experience when listening to others. But I'd ask you to think twice before giving advice. Generally, we found the atmosphere, trust, positive emotion is greater if we all take an attitude of learning together. I should say one more thing, that when we share in groups, we can write in chat what we want to say. But we could also make audio messages or video messages. The next point I'd like to make is to, also for the sake of openness and trust, is to keep whatever we hear in the course confidential, not to repeat it to other people. As I said, to encourage us to be as open and trusting as we can with our experience. There's also a request to keep what we write, what we post in the group, specific to the course and to our experience. It's not a place to start posting links about this, that, and the other that you might find interesting. Part of the course is we're trying to diminish, not increase, our levels of distraction and information. We're trying to focus more on less. And I'd like to ask as well, please don't share the video with others. Please don't post it online, this video. I'd ask you not to even show it to your friends. Why is this? It's because an integral part of this course is connection with the teacher, me, and also with each other, spiritual community and communication. If others are interested, well, I'm more than happy for them to be put in touch with me, and they can take things further that way. So the requests for you for this course, for these courses, are respectful, positive communication, confidentiality, keeping the posts in the group specific and not to share them with video. Welcome to discuss any of these points or to clarify them further should you wish. So to begin with, I'd like to ask you the first question, just as a way to give a bit of an introduction to yourself, just something quite brief. Just if you could say, if you could write in chat after the video's over, what your name is, which town, which city you're currently in, and why you decided to come on the course. What was your interest? What are you hoping to get from the course? So now finally, we're ready to start with our theme, the body. And a useful first question is, what is our relationship to our body? Before starting to meditate, People often say that they didn't pay much attention to their body. Maybe they did when they experienced strong pain or illness or strong pleasure, having sex. But apart from that, they wouldn't pay too much attention to it. Or another approach would be to pay a lot, maybe too much attention to how the body looks like. The path of meditation begins with developing our relationship to our bodies, developing a warm and positive relationship to our bodies, an intimate even relationship, open and full, with all its sensations, including sexual sensations. And we start with a meditation practice that we'll look at very briefly, very shortly, whose goal is specifically developing this relationship. But before we start, another question for you to write in chat. What was your relationship with your body? Did you tend more to ignore it, or give its appearance a bit too much attention? And another question, as well as what was our relationship to our body. The next question is, what holds or what held you back from being more in touch with your body? I think it's important to take on board that when we start to meditate, when we start the path of spiritual development, even though bits of us want it and want to develop, there are other bits held by the force of habit, negative emotions like fear or inertia, that don't want to develop. An integral part of spiritual development is learning how to work with these negative forces, these restrictive forces. So it's useful to try to see more clearly and acknowledge what holds us, what held you back from being more in touch with your body. I'd like to say a little also about the value of expressing your experience in the chats at the end of after the video. Expressing your internal experience can help learn from the experience of others. With meditation, it's particularly important. For one example, I've started to do weight training after a break of decades. The trainer can see how I'm doing the exercises, if I'm moving my body correctly, if I'm using the right muscles, and he can give me feedback. But a meditation teacher can't do this because everything's happening internally. So it depends on the person meditating to be able to express their experience, for the trainer or teacher to do their job. That's the first value, the first benefit. The second is the value of expressing experience in its own right. It's not always easy. It can seem a bit baffling sometimes. We need quite a lot of awareness to find ways of expressing our experience, maybe even a poetic flair. But if we do, we can make our experience an object. We can objectify it, so we and others can look at it. And in that way, it becomes more real. And by doing so, our levels of awareness increase, which is one of the goals of our practice. So this has been a bit of an introduction into why we do the mindfulness of the body meditation and the value of expressing our experience. So we all know the practice, the mindfulness of the body. It's a simple practice, but there's actually a surprisingly large number of different ways we can do it. To begin with, I'll just give you a list of some of these different ways. It'll be too much to take in all in one go, so you might want to take notes or listen a few times to this part of the video. And you probably won't be able to try all of these things in one single meditation practice. So you can try different approaches at different times. So I'll tell you the different approaches, then we can have a go at doing them together in a guided meditation. So to begin with, we can just bring our attention into the room where we're sitting. We can expand our attention out into the other apartments, the life beyond the building that we're in, on the streets, and listening to the sounds around us. This is a very good way to start and to finish meditation, to develop a broad awareness. Then we can bring our attention to our body as a whole, just experiencing, feeling our body seated in meditation, feeling our body just seated. Further, we can feel the contact of our body on the floor, the pressure of our body on the floor, and feeling the support of the floor. You gain a sense of confidence from the floor, of help from the floor, support from the floor. When doing the mindfulness of the body, we can also just give our attention to the bare sensations that we experience. Yes, some sensations are pleasant, some sensations are painful. Others, it's a bit hard to say, is this pleasant or is this painful? They're traditionally described as neutral. When we're doing the mindfulness of the body, we can use the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath, to relax. Maybe just by taking a deep breath at the beginning, or more specifically, breathing into a part of our body, say the shoulders, feeling how they expand with each in-breath, and just letting them relax with each out-breath, like a tight fist we allow just to open. We can use our imagination, feeling our awareness in different parts of the body as light fluid energy that gives warmth. Maybe the light has a colour. A bit more playfully, we can ask ourselves, okay, for different parts of the body, if this part of the body was an animal, how I experience it, what animal would it be? If this part of the body was the weather, what weather would it be? Maybe our head would feel a bit foggy. And then there's space. We can feel the space, the sense of spaciousness in the different parts of our bodies. Maybe around our heart. And ask ourselves for this sense of spaciousness. Maybe new feelings or emotions, energies can emerge that we weren't fully aware of before. We can try to notice if we're holding on in different parts of our bodies. The stomach maybe, the bottom. And just let these parts of the body relax, relaxing from the inside out. And seeing what feelings, what energies, what emotions emerge if we do so. Then we can look to notice more refined sensations, like the air as it gently passes through the nose or the mouth with each in-breath and each out-breath. And a good way to end the meditation is to return our attention to the whole of our body, seated here, and bringing our attention out into the room by listening to all the sounds around us. And just to say at the end about the value of sitting on. Sitting on means just allowing ourselves to continue sitting after we finish meditating without having anything particular to do. People often find that after the effort of meditation, more concentrated states can spontaneously emerge as we're sitting on. More pleasant experience can be had. So it's good to give us a bit of time to do this. So there are the different approaches to meditation. In a moment we can try them for ourselves in a led meditation. So when you're ready, close your eyes. Take a moment just to bring your attention, your awareness into the room. And listening to all the sounds around you. And now, bringing your attention to your body and feeling the whole of your body, being aware of the whole of your body, seated here, sitting upright, yet comfortable, and feeling the contact of your body on the floor, in chair, or bolsters or cushions. And feeling the support of the floor, the earth, the help, the confidence, and looking to notice all the different bare sensations in your body, the pleasant ones, the painful ones, and those that are neither one or the other, the neutral ones. And now we can use the sensations of the breath in the body to relax more deeply. Getting in touch with our breathing, and breathing into our shoulders, the muscles of our shoulders, feeling them expand with every in-breath, and feeling them let go, lower down and go lower with each out-breath. Feeling them softer with each out-breath. And bringing our attention to our hands, suffusing our hands with awareness, awareness that is like light, like light and free energy in our hands, does this light have a colour? What is it? And will identifying it make the colour appear more vivid? Now, looking to see if we're blocking or holding any energies in our stomach, in our bottom, and if we are, just allowing ourselves to let go, letting go in the stomach from the inside out, letting go in our bottom from the inside out, just seeing what emerges, and we give it permission to do so, whatever it is. And allowing a sense of spaciousness, a sense of space to be there around our heart center. and allowing any sensations, any emotions or energies to emerge from our heart center into the space, into the freedom. And now, bringing our attention to our nose or mouth, into the more refined sensations connected with the breathing, feeling how the air feels like in our nose and mouth as it enters and leaves our body. Can you feel the difference in temperature between each in-breath and each out-breath? And now, expanding our awareness out to include our body as a whole, seated here, and feeling the space around our body. And listening to all the sounds around you. As you prepare to slowly and gently open your eyes to finish the practice. Remembering the value also of sitting on. If you'd like to do so for a bit longer, you could always just pause the recording and start it again when you feel ready to do so. So now just a few questions for our group after the video. When you've tried a few of these different approaches in meditation, which ones work well for you? And which ones you don't feel so naturally drawn to? I'd advise trying to do the ones you don't feel naturally drawn to as well. It might be a bit more work to begin with, but you might surprise yourself and find new aspects of yourself and your experience. And a similar question is, which parts of your body was it most easiest to become aware of? Which parts was it hardest? Did you have any strong resistances to being aware of a particular part of the body? And finally, if you choose a part of the body, you could say if it was an animal, what animal would it be? If it was the weather, what would the weather be? So yes, there's three questions: which approaches worked well, which didn't? Which parts of the body were easy to be aware of and which weren't? And picking a part of the body, if it was an animal, what would it be? If it was the weather, what would it be? Well, that's the main input for this video. But there is one more important thing to do, and that's for me to ask you to do 3 tasks, 3 practices during the week before the next video, to put into practice what we've learned, to make what we've learned come alive in our lives, to embody what we've learned. And the first that I'm asking you to do is to do a mindfulness of the body meditation once a day. You could do it just for 10 or 15 minutes, or longer if you wish. It's good to have a particular time set aside and a particular place where you live, a meditation corner with a shrine or just some beautiful objects for inspiration before you. Many people meditate in the morning. It's not my cup of tea, but it works for many. Getting up a little earlier, just 10 or 15, 20 minutes earlier, to have that time to meditate, to set you up for the day. You could try going to bed a little earlier to give yourself, make sure you have enough sleep. So that's the first task, 1 mindfulness of the body meditation a day. The second is to do 1 thing each day with as much care and attention as possible. To do 1 thing each day, being fully present. Maybe this means doing it very slowly, but not always. The archetypal example is washing the dishes, but it doesn't have to be. It could be just drinking tea. And it's useful to know, how did you feel at the beginning? How did you feel at the end? Was there any difference? Did it have an effect on your mental states? So that's the second thing, doing one thing slowly each day, one thing with full attention, with as much care as possible, being fully present. And the third task is continuing the theme of attention to the body, but doing one thing, one activity, giving as much of your attention to your body as possible. Two ideas that immediately come to mind if you go to work on a metro, if you go to work by bus, keeping the phone in your pocket and just allowing your eyes to close and bringing to mind the different parts of the body during a journey. Well, if you have to walk somewhere, we all have to walk somewhere. Just giving our attention to our body, maybe especially the soles of our feet with each step. The sensations in the soles of our feet when we're walking are constantly changing. So giving us a chance to just find out what they're like. Maybe walking a bit more slowly, maybe not. And in this way, finding ways to bring practice of being more mindful, more aware, more sensitive into our lives. That doesn't necessarily mean fitting another thing in. Doing these things, these three tasks, mindfulness of the body, doing one thing with full attention, and being mindful of the body in everyday life and activities, it does require a little bit of forward planning. A good question, how to make sure you remember. It's useful reporting back to the group for support and inspiration. Even it's useful reporting back if you've forgotten to do it, it will help you the next time. So yes, we're nearly finished. And that was the three tasks I'd like to ask you to do in the week ahead, and to share your experience with us in the groups. And one last section, a review of the tasks I've asked you to do. Firstly, just to say a little bit about yourself, your name, where you live, and why you're on the course. Secondly, what is or what was your relation to your body? Thirdly, which approaches to the mindfulness of the body work well for you, which are a bit more unusual, which parts of the body are easy and not so easy to be aware of, and choosing a part of the body. If it was an animal, if it was the weather, what would it be? Fourthly, how are we getting on? We can say at the end of each day, with our daily practice of the mindfulness of the body, of doing something with full attention, and of bringing our awareness to the body as we're doing something in everyday life. And fifthly, just if there's anything else about the course, or questions or observations that we have. Yeah, so that's it from me. That's what I'd like to share with you in this first video on the course of going further, going deeper in meditation. Starting at the beginning, starting where we need to start, through developing a more open, intimate, warm, loving, enjoyable relationship with our body. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you a good week of practice. I'm looking forward to hearing from you.